is Thursday afternoon, and I wanted to show something off and actually test out a setup. And this is really weird because I don't have my second monitor set up, and my camera's in a weird spot, and my phone's doing the overhead. But there's a reason why I'm doing this, and it's because I want to show off. Let me get this set up correctly here. There we go. Hexploration, the Hexploration kit. This is by Inkwell Ideas. And I had backed this at one tier. And full disclosure, Joe Wetzel from Inkwell Ideas actually sent me the full kit. So very thankful to you, Joe, for that. Can't wait to catch up with you at Gamehole Con in October. And I have played with these a little bit. I think I did share a map that I did using the digital kit, which is what I was more interested in because I can't use physical manipulatives without throwing things all over the place. But I did want to show these off because I think they're really cool. And if you're interested in checking them out, it would be something that would be really neat for folks who want to do some exploration. So I'm going to pull this over here and hopefully someone will actually watch while this is going on. First off, these are static cling overlay stickers. So you can put these on your map to do things like set up cities, and I think there's rivers on there as well, and coastlines, which is really cool. This is probably something that, because I am such a physical klutz, I'm never going to use. I will try at some point because they look really fun, but they are just static cling. There's no stickum on them, so you can peel them off and put it back on. They should last forever. And if they get loose, I do believe that the idea is that you just wash them. They dry off and they work again, which is really, really cool. This is really the cool thing about the deck is that these have all these different adventure ideas. So these are on the high seas. This is Stranger Places, which I think that was the one I was really wanting to check out. And I'll open those up a little bit. The Underrealms, so the Underdark. We've got Into the Wilderness, so you just want to go off on a wilderness adventure. And finally, the Settled Lands. These are just absolutely wild. So I'm going to pull these out here before I show you the actual tiles themselves. And let's do one I haven't opened yet. I haven't done Into the Wilderness, so we'll open these up, and I will try not to break the box. This is one of the reasons why I'm not good at physical manipulatives. And to prove that this is something I have not opened yet, it's still wrapped in the plastic. So the collectors are freaking out. I'm going to throw this on the ground and forget to throw it away. So this is what you get. These are all hand-drawn pieces of art. They have a nice little idea on how to use it here. And they have some more stuff here describing biomes. So they give some advice on using the thing. So I'll put those off to the side. And let's just take a look at some of the artwork, shall we? I mean, isn't that beautiful? Just such cool stuff. It's so unique. And you can use these if you're using these locations. And I'm sorry, I'm like right on my camera, but I'm trying to lean forward to get them on the overhead cam. Um, Imagine if you use these locations, you hold this up and you have the artwork in hand already. Now there's a dangerous looking cave. I wonder what's living there. Go through a couple more of these here. Maybe some elves hanging out. Looks like an abandoned hut. Let's take a look at that one. I'll put this here so I keep the order the same. And so you got your abandoned hut. So if people are interested in checking that out, they can. Let me get in front of the phone. Phone works pretty good as an overhead cam, I have to say. I had an extender for my tripod that I could have used that would have made it a lot easier to put on. And I don't know where that went. I had to go find it. Anyway, so this is what you got. And then on the back, it's got a couple roll tables. So you're going to roll 2d6, and you're going to use d6 on one side, one of the tables, and d6 on the other table. And then it has, why is this in the wilderness, and what secret was left behind. So these are two other roll tables that you can use. You can see there's 6 options on each. And you can use that as the hook for this location and then build from there. So if you are wanting to do this live at the table, not that hard. Improvise from that point. You want to do it in advance. You pull out something that looks kind of cool, and off you go. So that is Into the Wilderness. I did the weird one, so I'm going to open that one up. Put this back. I'm putting this back in the deck, so you're seeing nothing. I don't want to rip the box because I am prone to destroying things, which is why I like digital objects for manipulatives. So this is the Stranger Things. I mean, Castle Grayskull on the front there. Pull this out. Again, same type of idea. What this deck is, the back card should be some ideas on where you can make things stranger. So some advice on how to use the cards. They're double-sided. Really cool. I really do like this camera as the overhead cam because you can get real close to it and it just lets you use it. Publishers are probably not happy about that. But then you got, fiery castle, floating castle, floating fortress a la Dragonlance, a dwarven keep. I actually read that card. I do know that is a dwarven keep. Let me scroll through some of the ones I haven't seen yet. Oh, it's, psychedelic Castle Grayskull. Let's look at that one. So I'm just calling this psychedelic Castle Grayskull. I have no idea what the actual name is, but to me it looks like psychedelic Castle Grayskull as I eat my camera. And there's in the back, the Contemplatorium. I actually said, I think all the syllables that were in there, didn't add any. That's pretty fun. And again, 2d6 tables at the top. So Guardian's appearance and the hospitality is. So eager for news, distracted and lazy, intrusively helpful. I always love playing intrusively helpful NPCs because they just annoy the players. And sometimes players need to be annoyed. Yeah, you can have a large inscrutable toad as the Guardian. That's really kind of cool. And then another six item roll table for what this place is about and why come here. So why would you go there? Well, let's say I roll a 3. I want to recklessly pursue forbidden magic and secrets. I have a friend who plays characters who would love that. Not that I'm going to mention Calvin by name. Take a look at some other ones. Calvin's actually, he played my 1/5e campaign. He played the Warlock. I played the Paladin. We were like best frenemies. And he kept trying to suck up to like ancient demons, and I kept on trying to save his soul. It was a lot of fun. Here's a nice little ancient fortress in the desert. That's actually cool. Let's see what that tree is. Trying to keep these all in the same order here. So cool little tree house, almost like maybe a druid keep or a druid hangout or like a nature wizard of some kind. Let's figure out what it is. On the back, it says it is the Riven Oracle Shrine. So it is a religious type place. You have the greatest treasure and the polite visitor's must. So let's take a look at that here. So actually, it's easier to read on my screen, which is kind of funny because my eyes are terrible because I'm old. So you could have a staff of curses, a magic wardrobe portal, signed pardon papers. So, to get your murder hobos back into the good graces of civilization. Treasure map collection, enchanting kilns. Oh, that's a nice one. Ooh, that would be a fun one. We need to create some magic items quick. Let's have enchanting kills. Scribe-proof sanctuary. Oh, that's kind of fun. Visitors must strip to their underclothes, fake enjoying poetry, let the host win, bring drugs or alcohol. That's actually a time-honored practice, right? Share a secret or provide child care. Please provide child care for my giant dire wolf puppy. How does it float and who lives in around this place? You have these gazelle centaurs. Oh, that's kind of a neat idea. A sulky oracle predicting the end of the world, also an old favorite. Boulder piles that form stone constructs. A wealthy retired magic item merchant, so kind of like the wizard. A bard in exile for sharing catchy political songs. That one's timely. Priest running a secret asylum for mad nobles. I mean, coming up with these items has just got to be so much fun. I'm gonna put this back in. So the decks are basically all that size. They have these incredible adventure prompts on it. Just a lot of fun, really cool stuff. I'm gonna put this back in the box. And we'll set the decks aside for now. Nobody's watching because it is Thursday at 1:51. I'm just bored. I did a bunch of reading today. Going to do a bunch of reading later. I'm going to prepare for my session tonight, and I am going to probably film my next random thoughts video. This is what I'm worried about: is ripping the box when I open that up because I'm not good. So these are the exploration tiles. Put that in the box there, and I actually need to organize these. You can see I've got some hills. Here's some grassland, some forest and grassland. They are all double-sided. So if you got grass on one side, I got mountains and forest on the other side. And the cool thing is these are all dry erasable. So you can just draw your road on it if you want to. If you have a blue marker because you don't feel like laying out a river, you can draw a blue marker on it, which is fine. Back is mountains. I do need to organize these. Like I said, you have some ocean. Actually, funny thing is I went to Joe. I had an earlier set that wasn't complete yet. And I was like, hey, can I get the ocean one? He's like, it should be in this directory. And I went, oh, I have a version of the digital tools that are, I think it was like 4 behind or 3 behind. And then I found it and it was kind of fun. So there you go. Now, these are obviously giant hexes that are broken up into hexes. The printing process, you can see, didn't get everything perfectly. I really don't care about that all that much for online or for physical stuff. If you're using the digital tools, they will line up perfectly. They do have a set orientation. My nose itches. All right, so let's build a little map, shall we? We've got some mixed forest there. Where is my grassland? Let's see. Here it is. We'll put some grassland over there, and you see it's pretty close. And so the forest going more piney that way. See how that has you have to make sure you're in the right orientation, and I'm always dizzy, so I do it wrong. So there's the mountains with some pine trees. Let's get some mountains with no pine trees. Let's build the mountains that way. And now I'm going to need some hills. Got mountains with hills. I've got hills with tropical trees. Oh, I like this one actually. It's another one. Kind of like the same. We'll build it out that way. And maybe it gets drier over here. So there's my basic. And you also have blank ones that you can just write stuff on. That's kind of fun. Scroll through these a little bit. Flip through these a little bit. So there's deciduous trees and mountains. I just want some hills. These are kind of lower mountains too. No, those are low. Some grassland. I'm going to flip everything over to see. Oh, look, kind of freaky stuff. There's a deciduous forest. Maybe there's swampy deciduous forest over there. I can put some desert in a second. Here's some hills, but I want hills with mountains. So let's flip this over. This is the cool thing. Digital ones would be awesome. So, and hey, Chuck, how are you? Thanks for being on as I try to make your comment live. Let's see if it does it from here. There it goes. Yeah, digital ones are awesome. And in fact, they do have them. You can go to Inkwell's Ideas website. I'm going to look for the link. But they do have a digital set of these, and it works really well. And they have coastlines, which you have to do stickums for that in the physical, but in the digital, you can do the yeah, my brain works. You can do the digital coastlines and put it in. It's a little hard to manipulate. I'm still getting used to it, but it does work really, really nice. It looks really nice when you're done. I'm going to put that there, hills after the mountains. And I'll put some more hills down here. So kind of get some water draining through. I would normally put like a river right there. So that would be really cool. I'm glad my chat works right off the bat this time. And let's do a mixed deciduous coniferous forest. Coniferous? I don't know. For that. And so you see, I have a whole hex area that you can work with right here. And Chuck, how does the audio sound? Because I'm using my Osmo mic or my mic mini with this. And I can put some more forest up here, or I can, push the grass. And this is one thing I don't like about physical manipulators. You can see how I'm at spaz and I just move everything around. If I try to change something, but I can put this here, maybe put the grassland out there, move it up a little bit. That's kind of fun. Depending on where the prevailing winds are, I could put the desert out. This is the hard part is when you go to use this as a thanks, Chuck. Audio is fine. Great. Um, when you go to use these in real time, you want to have these all organized, which I don't because I'm just playing around. But I can put some desert over here if I want to, and we'll put some more hilly mountains for that. So I got mountains kind of going this way. I have some tree mountains. Moving further north, it's more coniferous. I always forget how to pronounce that word. I can do it when I'm not thinking. Let's put it over here. Boom, 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 boom. So you get a nice little adventuring out area right here. I got those in the other day. Hey Stash, how are you doing? Yeah, Joe really knocked it out of the park with these. I think these are all hand drawn as well. So everything is just beautiful. But look how cool that is. I just built that right then. And if I wanted to just use this as an idea and not use this artwork, although I don't know why you wouldn't want to use this artwork for your map, or you're used to using something else, um, you could just take a picture of it and then use it as your you know overlay for doing something in like Wonder Draft or Incarnate. But I'll tell you what, I put these in Affinity Photo, or I just drag them into Affinity Photo. I use a different window and drag them in, and they're so good. I think I set it to 200 width with the default hex grid. So, hey, ear trumpet, listen, I actually have to record my random thoughts. It's up on the channel, up on my website, but I shout out both you and Agile Monk out for doing the gift memberships. You are really kind with that, and that really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. I know you probably don't want to shout out, but you're getting one anyway because I want to point out kindness when I see it. We live in a very unkind world. Yeah. So I could see them used in Owlbear Rodeo for a hex crawl. Yeah, if you can snap stuff in Owlbear right from there, like a hex grid snap, there's no reason not to. I could probably do. I haven't tried importing all these things into Foundry yet. That's a lot of resources. But I wonder if I could actually create hex crawl in Foundry just by dragging it into a hex grid and making sure that the tiles actually go through. So how after are you actually thinking through? Stash, you're gonna have to explain that one. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you mean by that one. It's so fun to have people on here though. Thank you, good sir. Yes. Well, first off, your username is awesome. And I'm sorry I have to abbreviate it in my highlight, just my ear trumpet, which I just think is mysterious. But you're just awesome. Thank you so much. Stash, several years ago, I made a punch patterns in Photoshop and used masking to paint the areas real quick to make maps. Work similar to this, but nice to have the physical things to pull out. Yeah, it's really cool, right? I really like it. And actually, it's fun. I don't have a polarizer on my phone, so you can see my light. If you were watching uh, my Voices of the Datasphere video, which I put up today, which is very good, by the way. The book is very good. I don't know how the review is. But I have a polarizer. I just, for some reason, thought, hey, I can get some of the glare gone. and put that on my Osmo, and it actually did the overhead a lot better as I keep my thing. So it was why I was interested in backing, and I think these are the same people I backed that did decks a while ago too. Yes, they've done decks. They also Inkwell Ideas did the dice, so like the dungeon dice that you can roll, which I actually want to pick up some. I think I actually may just decide because I'm going to go to Game Hall Con. I know Inkwell Ideas is going to be there. I'm really looking forward to seeing Joe, and you can see I put a mountains in wrong there. To seeing Joe and just saying thank you. I had a wonderful interview with him at PAX last year, and he's just been really good at staying in touch, which is fun. Well, I'll type that more correctly. How often are you actually thinking, though, Wes? All the time. That's the problem with my brain, is my brain does not shut off ever. Um, it's such a pain in the neck. And I'm going to actually look up Inkwell Ideas Hexploration. So I'm going to get the link up for you guys. Actually, you know what? I actually think they are on drive-through. It's verifying that I am human right now. Yay. Okay, I'm there. Good. Thank you. And exploration. Let's see where I got here. And I'm going to get the link. That's one of the decks. Here's the tiles. I'll get the link for it. I'm going to put an overlay on. See. The link. Give me a new link. I'm going to hide that thing. There we go. So that's the link. You just have to go to Drive-Through RPG and search for Hexploration map tiles or mini map tiles and icons. And the icons are these static cling stickers, which I'm not even going to attempt because I have all thumbs. I have all thumbs. That's what I have. But it's really, really, they're nice. They're very nice. I'm really happy with them. So that's kind of what it is. But you have this nice hex deck, and I could snap a picture of that and use that as my map for something else, or I could, look at that and then remember what tiles I need to drag out to make the map digitally to save forever, and then I could do the coastline over here. I'll show you the coastline stickers. I won't pull one off, but I'll flip through these so you can see them. So, and I put those in the Ziploc bag. I don't think they came in it. No, they did come in it. My brain doesn't work. So you can see you have like towers, mines. Always have to have mines, past gates, that sort of thing. There's some ruins in here. Man, they're sticky too. Cities, citadels. I like that one. Kind of a broken tower. Kind of fun. Giant sleeping. There's a city. Giant city, like a megapolis. Little city on a hill. Treehouse. There's the. What did we find out that was? So I guess these match a lot of the artwork on the cards. That was the Contemplatorium. I said it right twice. How cool is that? Cool cities, an observatory. So there's a lot of stuff you can throw on your map to make it points of interest. There's the rivers that you can do. I will say that digitally, the rivers are a bit of a pain, just to get everything lined up and working. But I do love they have the river mouths, and you can put them on the lake, and they overlay really, really nice. So you can have water coming into the lake, water going out of the lake to make it look right. And then you would take the sticker and you would put it right there, and that would online on the computer. So this would just pull off right along that coast there. On the digital version, it actually will mask the tile that's underneath that. So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I have no idea how many people are watching. I just know that there's some people are, which is nice. So you can do river splits. These are origins. I like some of the river origins. You can do little bays. There's a lake, deeper water. So you can do like a deep mountain lake. Anybody ever been to Crater Lake? It's amazing. These are some origins for rivers. There's some forks, so you can bring two different branches together. Rivers usually come together; they don't split apart unless you have an island there. It's one of the few things I know about geography. Um, so you would take the static. You want me to do one? I'll do one. I'll ruin it. But you would take the static cling. I'll have to take this little. I'm going to bend this whole thing off. I know I am. Okay. There we go. So you would take this whole thing off and you would put it in there. So now you have a point of interest on the map. It's really cool. Connection going bad, videos pixelating, lagging some. You know what? I figured out what's going on, and I have to contact Osmo. So Osmo updated the software or the firmware on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which, hey, I'm grateful for. It's very nice. So I put the sticker on the thing and on the map, and now I'm putting it back on the sheet. And that's how they work because they're just static. But Osmo upgraded the firmware, and they decided that they were going to upgrade the ability for the webcam to go to 4K, which is great. Except that one time it was like throwing 4K out video out. It's like, hey, just use your software to change that. Well, there's no way for me to change that for the stream that I'm sending up online. It has to be 1080p. Although right now it says it's 1080p. So I don't know. My internet's just wonky, and I'm sending two feeds at the same time. So maybe that's what's going on. I hope I'm back a little bit. But the static clings are really, really, really nice. And Trumpet, thank you. Do the chat like and or subscribe thing, folks. It's always a lot of fun. Very, very fun. And the static clings, they're really neat. Like I said, I'm pretty much I proved myself wrong because I just successfully did one, but I would destroy them over time. And in fact, I think I bent that card completely out of like warped it. And I'm afraid that after a while they would start curling up. So you might have to get like another piece of like thick wax paper to put them on to store them after a while. I don't know. I think they're really cool. I think they have a really good. I'm putting this up here, but they have a really good market for creating new static clings for the map. You don't need to make the big tiles; you just have to make more static clings. Which, hey, they're probably cheap. Looks like it's doing better now. Thanks, Dash. But neat. So we've got one thing I'm missing is we don't have a pass. So this is very hard. I guess we do have a pass right here. So that's okay. So forest, a little bit of hills. That's a little unrealistic to have no hills there, but hey, we're stuck with the tiles. And it looks like there's a little bit of a narrow pass that kind of goes through the mountains up here. And these might be really tall, and the prevailing winds might be kind of swirling around, which is why you have a rain shadow over here. I guess realistically, for northern hemisphere, if we were going from west to east, the rain more should be here, and the coniferous forest should be over there. And you can see here's why I don't use physicals. I move everything around. But I love the look of this. I really do. It's so cool. Just very, very impressed. So thank you to Joe for sending me out. I was watching your Numenera video and I got the notification for the stream. Thank you so much. It's nice to have people. Trumpet, I don't want to know exactly where you live, but what region are you from? Because I know nothing about you. And you've been a very kind person on the channel. And you're not on the Discord, are you? You should get on the Discord if you do that sort of thing. If you don't do that sort of thing, you shouldn't get on the Discord because why would I tell you something that you don't want to do? Gonna pack these up. And if you have not watched the Voices of the Datasphere review yet, again, I'm biased. I like all my videos, some more than others. But I will say that this is, oh, you're in Australia? That's awesome. Thank you. That's so cool to have you all the way from over in Australia. Did you find me? Well, you found me before I did Tales of Argosa because Stephen is from Australia and he's one of my favorite people. But if you have not watched my Voices of the Datasphere review, which, like I said, went up today, that is probably my favorite Numenera book that I've read so far. And I've read some good ones. I thought the Ninth World Bestiary that I read, even though it's a little dated at this point, that was fantastic. Um, the two main books are really, 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 really good. And the world building is amazing. And let me show you something I just picked up, which I don't know if I'll ever do a review, but we'll see. This is where I always am terrible at this. But what a nice box they put it into. Let me show you what I just picked up. I'll bring this over to. So neat. Description on the back. Supercharge your next campaign setting. Really cool. Yeah, if you're inclined to do Discord, you'd be more than welcome on the server. It's very, very nice. But let me show you this Discord or this Numenera book that I just got. So there is a used bookstore near here, and I was at a coffee shop probably about a month ago. It was either right after I started my vacation part of my sabbatical or just right before, and I was out doing some reading. And I was at a coffee shop, and it was right down the street from this this bookstore that I go to that has literally, it's the only used bookstore in the area that I found that has TTRPG books. I don't know why nobody else does. I've always struck out. And the owner walked in, and he kind of knows me a little bit because uh, I come in and I talk. I look at one shelf and we talk, and I leave. I often will buy something, and it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "No, I'm doing really good." And he walked in, and when he was walking out, it's like, "Hey, do you have anything new?" He's like, I do. I haven't put anything out yet. I got some stuff online, but you want to come down and look in the back?" That was the first time I've ever had a "Hey, come look at the back" moment. So that was a lot of fun. And oh yeah, that would be awesome. Come down. What do you get back there? He's like, some Numenera. He's like, yes. I was like, I'll be right down. So I finished my coffee and finished the reading what I had to read. I think I was reading The Elusive Shift at that point, which is a fantastic book that folks really should read if you are inclined to read. But if you want to know anything about the history of the game, it's a good one to read. And I'll get a review of that up soon. And so I walked down and I was like, okay, hey, I'm just want to look at it. He's like, yeah, let me bring all these out. I was trying to sell these as sets. Well, the first thing I saw is he had the 2-book box set, which is normally like $120. And I know that one of my players really wanted to pick up the books, but they're really, really expensive. Very, very good, but it's a difficult buy-in. And I texted, I was like, hold these out. I said, hey, and I won't give his name. I was like, these are $50. You want them? He's like, yes. Okay, so I grabbed those. I grabbed another book for myself, Vertices, because I was reading Voices of the Datasphere. I just read Voices of the Datasphere. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And then there was a couple other books, and I'm like, I'll be back to get these later, I'm sure. And last week I went back up, and this was on the shelf. And I had the PDF of this. This book's awesome. Now, I will say that from my brief glance through, most of what's in here is in Numenera Discovery because it has the whole gazetteer for the Ninth World, which is one of the coolest settings that I've ever read. This has things like the calendar and the weather, which I do not remember from the Discovery book. I could be wrong, but that's the Ninth World, the full map. And it's got some. Monty Cook will always have cool artwork or cool stories to begin their books. A lot of times, there's a really neat short story at the beginning of Discovery, which is really, really cool. But this kind of gives you over life in the Ninth World, setting the scene, the natural world, the sky, why, how long the days are. So some of this stuff is in Discovery, but like the weather and the seasons and how the calendar is organized is not. You have all the organizations. I don't remember that this is in Discovery. I'm going to have to take out my book and compare the two. And so I had the PDF for this because I picked up a huge Monty Cook Numenera PDF bundle on Humble Bundle right at the beginning of the summer. And I really, really enjoyed what I was reading. And in fact, what I did is I opened up fantasycalendar.com, which is a neat little service, and I actually created the Numenera calendar. So now I can kind of track where the players are in the time, and actually figured out where they are in the ninth world, or at least in my brain. They're more temperate zones, so I set the maximum and minimum temperatures and the type of weather that comes in, and figured out how that all worked out. And that was a really fun exercise to do. On fantasycalendar.com, I think it's fantasycalendar.com. If you want to just take any world that has a different thing, like multiple moons or whatever, you can do it right in there. There's also a plugin for Foundry that works really well, but I don't use Foundry for Numenera. It's an in-person game, and we go Theater of the Mind, so I don't need Foundry. But this is a really cool book, and I think it's got a little bit more detail than is in Discovery, because this is by itself, over, let's see, 253 pages, 254 pages. So that's a little bit more than what you have in Discovery, but it's really cool. And the artwork for all Monty cookbooks, Monty cookbooks. We're not cooking Monty, is so good and so bizarre and so awesome. So neat. So that's what I got. Very cool. I'm going to take this off stage and I'll just go to the front. Really nice. So let me look at what we got for chats here. Oh, hey Matthew, how you doing, man? Smile your trumpet. This is how you found me. I'm gonna bring you up. YouTube recommended you. I saw you were doing reviews of games I wasn't familiar with, and thankfully not D&D, which I'm sick of. That's like, I I did not set out to do a non D&D channel. In fact, one of my earliest reviews is actually for the Goodman Games 5e reprint or reimagining of Isle of Dread, which is a fantastic work, by the way. Um, and but I just never. I was like, oh, eventually I'll have to cover some D&D stuff. Like I got all the 4e books, because there are people. It's like, you need to really look at 4e and see how it's done, because the DMG was really good. So I picked those up. I haven't had a chance to read them yet. I will eventually. But eventually I was just like, I have other games I want to play. I have other games I want to review. And that's just what I ended up doing. And that was right before the OGL hit. And then I was like, I don't want to do 5e. Everybody's doing that. And I didn't want to talk about how awful Wizards of the Coast was, because it would get me a lot of clicks. It would. Um, but I just don't feel good about that. I did one OGL video, and that was because Basic Fantasy RPG, which is a project that I've been involved in a little bit. Hey, Chris. Um, they, I had emailed Chris, or messaged Chris Donnerman, who's in charge of the project. He's the original author. What are you going to do about this? And originally it's like, well, they can't revoke the OGL, so I don't care. And when they were like, no, we're trying to revoke it, he went to his forum, because he does everything on online forums, and expelling the OGL, and we're just putting this out as Creative Commons. And what the Basic Fantasy RPG community did to scrub the OGL out of that, and then they could pull back a little bit when Wizards caved and put the OGL put the 5e SRD in the OGL. They could bring back like spell names and stuff. But what they did was incredible. But that was the only OGL video I did, and it was because Basic Fantasy had dropped it, and I thought that was something I wanted to talk about, and that did really good, and I was very upset. And thank you, Stash, for saying I do some really good reviews. I'm way back at the beginning of the stream, catching up. It's not that interesting, Matthew. It really is not. But these do look cool. And Chris, good to see you. I never see any Numenera in the local game stores. I do like Basic Fantasy. There's a lot to like about Basic Fantasy. I've seen Numenera in 2 game stores. So there's Top Deck Games, which is down in Voorhees, right near me, about 20 minutes from here. They have Numenera stuff. In fact, that's where I got a lot of Cypher System stuff. That's where I picked up the Origin, which is kind of this mix between X-Files, Heroes, and if you know the sci-fi was really a pilot, but they put it out as a movie called The Lost Room, which I thought was really cool. It's like a mix of those things as I pick up. Really cool. So they have some Cypher stuff. I've really been fortunate with that. In fact, they have the Numenera standees, which I think I might want to pick up one time. Although I like having the cards for the creatures and not putting standees out because again, you've seen me knock things over. And then have I seen Cypher System? I think I've seen it at the Complete Strategist over in King of Prussia, which is nearer to where I grew up, really near to where I went to college, and it's a really nice little store. It's this little store. I'm like, how do you guys stay here? And they go, rank control. It's awesome. It was there when I was a kid. When I was in high school, uh, Complete Strategist was there, and it's still there in the exact same spot. And I remember going there the first time. That's where we picked up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had one friend who played, and we never really got a chance to play. We more collected, and I picked up the second edition of Gamma War, or the third edition of Gamma War. I didn't even know the second edition existed. So, just my thoughts. I love your random thoughts a bit more than reviews. The random thoughts are a lot easier to do. The reviews take a long time to do. Stash, see you later, man. Good to be on since you're heading out for now. Thanks for stopping by, man, for my completely unannounced stream. I have to do like thumbnails for some of these. So I've seen Numenera in 2 stores. They're really good. And the Monte Cook Games folks are really, really, really wonderful to interact with and talk with. I think I said it in my last Random Thoughts video, is what they've done with doing Cypher Evolved at this point. They've really been careful to make the community feel like, I don't even know feel like, but actually part of the process. And I think that's really important because they have a really, really rabid makes it seem negative. A really passionate fan base. I'll save rabid for my fellow Eagles fans because we're a little bit nuts. But they have a very passionate fan base who have bought into this game. And in fact, one of the reasons why I think some of my Cypher System books don't get a whole lot of views on YouTube, even though everybody loves Numenera, is because they already own the books. There's so many people that there's so many people that just have every book in Monty Python. I'm running that on Monday, and Monty Cook Games thing, so they don't need to watch a review. It's like the fans already have the book, so they're not watching. It's just I've always wondered, like, where are they? And they're all playing Cypher System. They don't need to look at reviews. The Complete Strategist in New York City was my spot. It's really a magical closet, super narrow. Is that I think that's still there, isn't it? Those are the only 2 there used to be like 7 of them, and there's only the one that's in the Empire State Building and the one in King of Prussia that are left. In fact, if you go to the website, they only will show you the, uh, the New York City one. So that's kinda like they're doing a really good job making sure that everybody understands, because folks are so passionate about it, they want people to do it, and they were taking the people who do Cypher Unlimited, which is kind of like the big fan community. It is a fan community, making sure that they knew what was going on. They've been reviewing all the design libraries on their live streams. Questions have been made. They have confirmed or not. They have they have confirmed that they can't confirm that people are watching the live stream to see what questions they have so they can address those the next week. Like that's how engaged they are with the group. And when you have kind of a tight knit community like that, you can do that. So Cypher System, Monte Cook Games, really, really good job with stuff like that. So I'm really happy for them, and I'm happy to be playing their games and to reviewing their stuff because it tends to be really, really good. In fact, it's I think my longest section on the shelf, and this doesn't have everything. I go from here to here, which is not a whole lot, but I haven't only been back in the hobby for a few years. And then my free league stuff is going from here to here. I think that's the second most. So yeah, a lot of fun. But they do really good stuff. So if you get a chance to ever play Numenera, if you're going to a convention, I will say this, and I think the Cypher Evolved is going to solve some of this. It's a difficult first play convention game. And it is not because the game is hard. The game is dead simple. I literally it is extraordinarily simple for GMs. But the game is everything has a level from 0 to 10. To find out the target number on the D20, you take the level, you times it by 3. That's the target number. If you have an ability in something, or if you're trained in something, you can lower the target number by 1 or 2, depending on how well trained you are. You have a tool that would help you with that, you can lower it again. You want to put some extra oomph in it, you can lower it. You can do really difficult tasks and lower them down to something that is much more feasible to do. It's very, very simple. People have said, well, that sounds complex, and I've never found it to be difficult at the table. It's very fast for people. And it's easy to grow into. It's great for campaign play. For one shots, what I noticed, it's not that the characters are, or the mechanics are hard, and it's not that the characters are difficult to understand, it's that they are complex. That's really where the majority of the complexity comes. And that comes from Cipher System's way that you build a character, which is phenomenal, which I am an adjective, noun, who verbs. So the adjective is just kind of like your background personality, right? Your noun is the closest thing that you would have to a class in Cipher System or Numenera, and your verb is kind of like, it's literally what your focus is in the game, right? That's how Numenera works. And the three of those things combined can create some complexities for tiering up, because you're getting abilities for different spaces. And then you're just going to have a lot on the sheet sometimes that you can do. So in some respects, it feels a lot of like every character is a little bit of a spellcaster if you're used to like the 5e slowdown. It is easier than 5e. It's a lot, heck of a lot faster than 5e. But when people jump into it first, there's that, oh my gosh, there's so many things I can do, I don't know what to do, and you get some decision paralysis. So for one shot games, for people who are more prone to decision paralysis, it's a difficult game to jump in on at a convention. That's been my experience. Now, I ran 2 sessions at PAX Unplugged this last year, and there are people who had never played Numenera before, but they weren't prone to decision paralysis, and they jumped right in and ran with it. So maybe it's just if you're used to playing multiple systems. I played a session at EcclesiaCon, and I had like 3 players who just weren't used to playing games, they'd never played any other system but 5e, and so it was like every time it came around, it was like a very long wait. Well, what do I do? I have, and you can't get them to move. So that's just be aware of that if you want to play. If you never played Cyber System and you want to play it at a convention sometime, I think it's a great system. It's number 2 on my list, and it will probably remain there for a very long time because I really love it. I love running it. And here's how easy it is for a GM. We want a new monster, or we want to go to a new place. Great. What lives there? Um, Tall abhumans, it's their terms for people who have been transformed by the ninth world. Tall abhumans that have tree-like limbs and structure, making ants, right? They're level 5. Cool. All right. So what do we got? Well, level 5. That's the number to hit and to dodge it. Oh, but they're really slow, so they defend as level 4. Okay, so it's a level 4 to hit. Okay, but they're really, really strong. So they do 5. Don't just do 5 points of damage. That's their level. That's typical. They do 8 because they will pummel you to death. And they got a big, big, big reach. So maybe they attack as a level 6. And so I just made a creature and on the page, and you can literally see in the Cipher System rulebook or Numenera rulebooks or adventures, is a lot of times they'll just put creature listings and stat blocks in the margin notes, and they're like this big. They have everything you need to run it. Oh, they got armor. There you go. 2 armor, we're good. No problem, we're done. This is how they attack. These are their modifications, and this is what they want. We're done. You want to go in and flesh it out later, you can, but you don't have to. You just made a creature. And I have done that numerous times when we were playing either Cypher System or Numenera. I just throw something at people like, here we go. And that's the target number. This is it's health. Health is usually its target number. I can bump it up or down a little bit. Usually if that has armor, I don't. And I can do that on the fly. I have creature decks because I like what they do. Let me show you, because I've said I've become a deck goblin. I want to show you what that means. Let me see what I pull out here. I never thought I would become a deck goblin. So this is a Cypher deck. These, if you're playing Cypher System or Numenera, these are essential. As far as I'm concerned, these are absolutely essential because you don't have to wait for people to write stuff down. You can just say, okay, hey, here's your Cypher. There's 3 on the card. Roll a d6 and pick out which one it is. That's the one you got. Take a picture of it, write it down, and hand me the card back. Or take a picture of it and hand me the card back. And there's 2 things in there. So this is what it does. This is what it looks like. So it can be a wearable, an injectable, something you eat. And then this is the creature decks. These are great. I don't need these because, like I said, I can make a creature up in about 30 seconds. But they're so cool. Oh, this is a good one too. Pull it back a little bit. There we go. This is a dimensional husk. Flip it over there. That's the back. That's everything you need to run it. Now, it does have a couple of things missing on this, like what its purpose is or what it's looking for. So every creature in Cypher System is going to have a motive, like hungers for flesh. Look at that thing. Oh, focus in. Come on. That is a dribble. Eh, what a name. A dribble that can't attack a creature with a surprise will usually not initiate an attack. Cool. Really neat. Hey, Meesrel, how are you? Evening, where are you? You over on the other side of the pond from us? Oh, this one. This one's freaky. Hold on, let me get manipulatives. So I knock everything over. This one is freaky, and I actually used this as the boss for the first adventure that we did. Doesn't that, I mean, that's just terrifying. When Monty Cook, I was talking with Jason Campbell last night on my Discord, and by the way, he's got a Weird West backer kit that runs Cypher System right now. I should probably put that link up. Go back that; it's really cool. And but we were talking about how Monty Cook, when Monty Cook wants to do horror, like they go intense, and I need to be able to see it. You can see how intense that looks. Just crazy. This is a Memora, and these actually will eat people and take their identities. You're in UK. Nice to see you. And it actually it goes so far as to, like, they have a sauce they put on people to make the absorption process faster. Money People will sometimes like Monty Cook. They did that consent in gaming, and then you like see the stuff that Monty Cook puts out. It's like, yeah, I think the reason for that is because they realize that they do stuff that really freaks people out, and they need to have that consent in gaming so people can know what's going on, because that's terrifying. And me, who does not normally like horror, made this the boss. So when we were doing the character builds, the one character rolled up is that he was why was he on the adventure, and it was because he was chasing after a fugitive, and so he determined that the fugitive was his aunt, named Octanon. It was a great name, I thought. And so, okay, so what was going on? He's like, I don't know. So we worked out that Octanon there was a fertilizer that they were using where they were from, called Numenaris. It was old technology is called Numenera, which is why the game is called Numenera. But this was Numeris, is what I called it, and it helped gave them bumper crops and helped their settlement really, really grow. And Octanon was a chemist who was they were running out of it, and he was trying to, or she was trying to figure out how to create more Numeris by making synthetic Numeris. Everything's kind of synthetic in the ninth world, by the way. There's no dirt, it's drit, because it's like just weathered technology everywhere, and nanobots, and it's really a freaky place in the ninth world. But was trying to make this generic Numeris. somehow got it turned into a drug, and then my player decided that his aunt turned everybody to stone, and he was there to either figure out how to free them or and save his aunt from whatever was happening, or to bring them back. And little did he know that his aunt had been eaten by the Memora. And there's like this great scene where he kind of the aunt kind of bumps into them while he's was doing odd jobs. We have some very strange sessions, and invited him to the club that she owned. And she had turned herself into a kingpin, and by this point they had been recruited by like the local constabulary as informants, and he's trying to figure out, what do I do? And I just talked with this very interesting voice that it sounded kind of cold and menacing. And they went to the club. She invited him and somebody else who was from the town into, actually one of the party members apparently used to work for Kingpin Octanon, and brought them into the room and just, oh, well, I have something to tell you. I'm not your aunt, but she was delicious. And they got latched to the table, and she got out her sauce. They killed her pretty easily, which I was kind of sad about. Um, but Amamura is only a level 4, and there was two characters coming against him or her. And but when they were done, they did get a note from Octanon saying, "See you soon." So who knows? Maybe Octanon is out there somewhere. We will have to see. But that's the type of creature. So this deck is essentially what everything that's in this creature deck 2. This is basically everything in the Ninth Worm Bestiary. Creature deck 1 is most of the stuff that's in the Numenera core books, the 2 books. And it doesn't have everything for the creature. Like, it doesn't have their motive or their basic origin or whatnot, but it's got everything you really need to run it. Really cool thing. Really cool stuff. So yeah. So we did Hexploration decks. We talked a little bit about Numenera. I'll put this on again. Go live. And we got this cool Ninth World Guidebook, which I don't know if I'll do a review of, but I will read it because it's got more detail than's in the Gazetteer in the Numenera Discovery. So that's where I'm at. So I'm going to record my random thoughts for this week. I do have the written version up on the DM Tales website, dmtales.com. And there's usually just a little bit of difference between the two because I can't read. And on the 11th, which I guess is Monday. Yes. No, Thursday, 8th, 9th, 10th. Yeah, on Monday, I am going to be part of a Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program. Sometimes the title rolls off my tongues, and other times I have to think about it. I'm going to be with, actually, there's going to be 5 players. I have to warn Brian. My daughter's playing. Dave from Grimwood Games is playing. Someone who has played with a lot of the Avenue Studios folks, Xania, and with a lot of the Grimwood Games stuff is going to be on. And oh gosh, who else is going to be on this? I don't even know. I got to look. It's going to be fun. But the game's going to be run by Brian Saliba, who is the lead designer for the game, and it will be absolutely amazing. That starts 8:30 Eastern. Should be a lot of fun. Mithril's got a thing up. Let's see. I think it was towards the end of the TSR era or at the beginning of the WotC time. They bought out a narrative-driven card game. It's been driving me nuts that I can't remember the name of it. Yes, it was the end of TSR. It's actually in Art and Arcana, I think. This is another fantastic book. Instead of you listening to me flip this around, let's bring this live and flip it. Okay, cool. So let's see. It would have been the late chapters. May's 4th edition, 3rd edition TSR, the fall of TSR, 259. So it's right around there. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, look at this artwork, 259. We're going to find this for you. Someone's probably already talked about what it is. Hey, Dave, I just talked to you. Looking forward to the Python Fun, reading it now. Oh, Matt, The Python game is so much fun. There's no page numbers. Okay, let's go. Hello. 262. So let's see where we got. I know the card game is mentioned. That is not it. Let me know when you see it, anybody. Dave, are you on lunch break, man? It's good to see you. And also, you are not playing tonight, correct? In Dragon Bane? Where's there? Because I know there's a whole thing that they were getting their lunch handed to them by Magic when it came out. Man. So it's not that chapter. This book is so fun though. Fun to have you. You only have like 2 rooms left in that dungeon too, which is a bummer. But have fun running Iron. You running Plaguebound or Ironbound? Everybody should go hang out with Dave tonight. Oh, here it is. Spellfire. Is that what it was? I'm pretty sure that's it. I got you, man. Bring that off. So I think Spellfire. Art Archon is a really neat book. So yeah, have fun doing your Plaguebound stream. So when everybody gets to do that, Plaguebound. So Plaguebound is awesome. So Dave wrote Ironbound, which is right there waiting for me to do a review. He's also a channel member. I did back that project, by the way. But Plaguebound is this. Dave, tell me if I describe it wrong in chat, but Plaguebound is this game where there is a sentient plague that has crashed to this planet and it is slowly taking things over. And but if you get somewhat infected with the game or with the plague, you can kind of bolster your abilities a little bit. And so there's people who are trying to keep balance with like, we'll take some of the plague and try to keep it at bay. And there's other people like, no, this is like the way to be totally pure and powerful. They're warlocks. And they just embrace it. So it's this really bizarro type of game. And he did a great job creating it. I cannot wait to get the physical copy in my hand, which should be good. And let's see what else I got. Looking forward to the Python fun. Yes, it will be absolutely fun. The Python's wild. My character's name is Tripton Cowlicker, which is spelled Cowlicker, which is fun. Boost and hinder each time. So for Spellfire, I'm assuming. And I have other characters like playing a flatulent monk. My daughter is playing a churl who's got some druidry. Dave, you need to make your character. Dan from Avenue Studios is doing it. I forget what he's playing, but it's some crazy thing. I decided that I was going to roll my dice, and if you know what my life is like, I break bell curves, and I have 2 8s, which is like bad. And the best is I rolled straight down the line for my attributes, and my 2 8s are the 2 things that like are the mandatory traits for my situation. So I'm playing an upper class cleric. Figured I'd stray from my roots, and so the upper class anyway. It's such a bummer when you have an actual profession or vocation that would be your character class or translate into your character class. What would your character class be in D&D? Cleric, always. But I am playing a upper class cleric who is terrible with purpose and lorefulness. So he didn't have a clue what he's doing, but he's really good at decorum, so he dresses up nicely. And he's really good at glibness, so he flatters people until they leave him alone, which is going to be so much fun to play. And he's got an acolyte running around that I haven't named yet. I think I'm just naming him Steve because that's my default NPC name. Should be a lot of fun. His name is Tom. I'm going to read it Friday and make a character. Awesome. Awesome. If you want help, and just send me the sheet when you finish filling it out, Dave, and I'll put it into Foundry so you can roll the dice. Break's over. Talk to you soon. Listen, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night tonight. Enjoy doing session 0 of Plaguebound. When it streams, guys, go look, check out Grimwood. It's grimwood.games, or if you're on YouTube, it's Grimwood Games. He's awesome. Dave is a very good friend of mine. So yeah, and I am basically talked out. I want to go have some water or some tea or maybe some coffee, and I got more reading to do. So that should be fun. I'm reading Tabletop Role Playing Therapy right now, which doesn't sound like it would be an interesting book, but it's really, really fascinating. I'm reading it because there's like a very narrow touch point between that and chaplaincy. And I'm realizing that some of the stuff that I want to do with role playing games would be more akin to chaplaincy than anything else. Um, Playing games for people who are kind of emerging from crisis situations to have them enjoy having agency again. That's kind of my idea for it, which is not counseling because I'm not going to be doing long-term stuff for people, but I am going to be doing, getting people into just start those steps to go through. So maybe through it they can identify stuff they need to work on long term. So that's why I'm reading this book, and it's fascinating. The first part, I'd almost would recommend to any GM, and the second part, it's hit or miss for anybody. But a lot of it is really interesting, and it will, if you have a misunderstanding of why you would do a session 0 with like things like informed consent, even in a casual game, they kind of explain why, which I think is okay. And I've never done like the full checklist or anything because I always tend to play with people who I want to know at least some of their stuff beforehand, because I'm terrible at picking up on social cues. And so I've not done that. And I tend to run PG-13 games. I don't go off on the edge. But they do a really good job. So it's a neat book. It's very expensive. It's small town or small press academic publishing. So I think it's like $40 for the print. And I think I paid like 30 for the ebook on Kobo. But it's really worth reading. If you get a chance, you can find it at a library or something. Check it out, and don't do unlicensed therapy, please. You can read it to get insights into like a little bit what's going on at the table and maybe how to be more compassionate at the table to folks, but don't do unlicensed therapy. That just is awful. So that's what I need to go back to reading because I want to finish that book so I can start reading Playing at the World, the 2 volumes. I've got those ready to go, and that should be a good time. I'm having fun on my sabbatical so far. I'm looking forward to getting into it even more. But thank you everybody for checking out this random stream. Thank you for looking as I looked at the Hexploration kit. I'll bring this up here. This is by Inkwell Ideas. They did send me the full kit. I did back it, but they sent me more than I paid for. And they're really, really, really good folks. And you can find this on Drive-Thru RPG. Look for Hexploration tiles. You'll also see the links for the Hexploration decks, which are there. Really cool stuff. And with that, I'm going to go get something to drink because I'm losing my voice. And you all have a wonderful evening, afternoon, day, wherever you are. Thank you for being all over the planet watching me for some reason, which is amazing. Who would have thought that we'd be able to do this even like 15 years ago? I mean, it's so cool. And I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me. So you all have an excellent day. And until we see each other again, happy playing, everybody. That's not my line. Happy playing, everyone. There we go. See you later.